We now know so many things. We know how mind wandering occurs. We understand how memory works. We understand, and there are all these principles we should be applying to learning, and we have steadfastly ignored them because the freight train of learning is very hard to stop. And we're so convinced what we're doing is right, and we're so regulated, we don't change it. Now, if you take all these lessons and start applying them, you would teach completely differently. For example, this is something called, this combines 2 or 3 principles. But it turns out, if you look at the red chart, look at the red line, if you eat quickly, well, next day, you know what you're going to do with it, right? Similarly, learning. If you learn very quickly, as if you're putting a lot of food in your mouth, it's not going to last in your body very long. For long-lasting learning, you actually want to do short chunks. You want to learn over a long time, slowly, and you want to repeat things. And then you get long-lasting learning. And that is applying principles like spaced retrieval. Hermann Ebbinghaus is the scientist who many decades ago, actually more than 100 years ago, discovered that the path to remembrance is through forgetting. In fact, forgetting is the body's signal, the brain's signal to itself that if I'm reminded of this, I'm actually going to remember it longer. Yet every time a student forgets, we get upset with them. And we never give people the chance to forget because we quickly do an exam and move on. But forgetting is actually a very fundamental part of learning. Here's another one. Let us say you're learning something in mathematics, like how to calculate the volume of a sphere and how to calculate the volume of a cone and how to calculate the volume of a cylinder. Every book has a chapter on spheres, a chapter on cones, and a chapter on cylinders. But all the science tells us you're better off doing cylinder, sphere, cone, and mixing it up. And the reason is every time you have to do a different problem, you have to forget the old program, upload the new method, and use it. And it's in the uploading that the memory occurs. And you can see we ignore it in the classroom, right? It's fascinating how many lessons we know. Here's another one. There was research at MIT that showed that that when they put EEGs on students' brain and they did a study to see how students learn, and they found that there is a certain brain pattern that leads to better learning. And a professor, Charan Ranganath in the University of California, showed what that emotion is. He showed that we learn better when we're curious. Curiosity is the hunger of learning. And the saliva of learning is a neurotransmitter called dopamine. So if you make students curious, they will learn. End of story.